Hey guys, welcome to the first of my shoulder rehab videos. This is quite specific for me and quite personal for me because 2 weeks tomorrow, I had shoulder surgery. I had a shoulder rotator cuff repair. They also repaired some of the bicep tendon. They shaved off some of the bones. So I'm really in this with you. So from week 1, there's some passive movements that we are allowed to do, and they must be passive. They mustn't be active, because we've got to let that muscle and that tendon set and really reattach to the bone. But the passive movement is so important because we also don't want to get frozen shoulder, and that is a real concern, especially for women, and especially between the ages of 40 and 60. That's when frozen shoulder is most common. So me at almost 50, I am peak for that. So we're just going to do a few exercises, and these are something that I'm trying to do 3 to 5 times a day. I take my arm out the sling, and sometimes when I'm watching TV, I just take it out the sling and just let it settle by my side. I'll show you later. So let's get going. I have taken my arm out the sling. I'm very careful to keep it by my side for the minute. And one of the biggest things I do to start with is what we call the pendulum exercise. So you want to make sure that you're leaning forward. I'm looking after my back, and I'm just very gently going to let my arm hang. Now, because this is passive, this is 100% fine. Now in this position, I can feel the pain a little bit here, so I'm not going to push through it. I'm going to breathe in, breathe out, and I'm just going to hold it here for a few seconds, just letting it try and relax. From here, you want to try and let the arms swing. I'm going in little circles because it feels more comfortable. You can go forward and back, but really make sure this is not an active movement. It's just like a pendulum, just letting it swing. And I find this just loosens it off a little bit because it gets very stuck in that sling, very tight. Time of day is also important for me. This is the end of the day. It's often a little bit more tired, a little bit more stiff. And I do this for about a minute. You can do this as often as you like, whenever you take the arm out the sling, and you just let it hang. I'm also trying to, from my shoulder blade, let it hang. So I'm trying not to let any of the muscles hold. I just want to let it relax. Make sure you're breathing in, breathing out. On the breath out is when you really try and relax. And already it starts loosening a little bit. There's already no pain now. And then slowly coming up when you're ready. Again, you can do that for as long as you want. I'm going to come a little closer. I'm going to kneel for this so I'm a bit closer to the camera. Please excuse my hair. As you understand, I can't do my own hair. So my pony was done this morning by a friend of mine, and it needs to be redone. It's probably the most frustrating thing I'm finding. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is a passive movement. This is the operated shoulder. I'm going to show you the ranges we're allowed with this arm, but they must be passive. So we're going to aim for eventually 90 degrees. And now this is over the next 4 weeks for me now, by 6 weeks post-surgery. 90 degrees passively, not using the muscle like I've just done there. 45 degrees, and then this is the hardest one for me, 30 degrees of external rotation. So clasp your hands. The best way to do this one for your flexion is to hold your hand. So I'm going to use my right side to get my left side moving. The most important thing here is to set those shoulder blades down and back. Now, as soon as I do this, it stretches. It's not that comfortable, but the temptation is to always be rounded because it feels a little bit easier. You want to squeeze those shoulder blades down and back. So in this position, squeezing them down and back. Right, so that in itself is an exercise. Now, holding that, when I lift my arm, I've got to make sure, bearing in mind it's this side, that as I lift my arm, I don't raise my upper traps. So I've got to think of pulling that shoulder blade down while I pull the arm up. So let's go together. I'm using only my right arm to pull this left arm up. I'm going to go slowly down, really take the weight through that right hand. Reset, because it's starting to feel a little uncomfortable. Breathing out. I'm really focusing, and remember, I'm doing this with you, live, real life, 2 weeks post-surgery. Just rolling it out a little bit. Nice, we're just gonna go for 5. Normally as a physio, I'm like, yeah, let's do 10. 5's enough. As you can see, that nice little wobble in my arm, completely losing my muscle. It's nice and flabby. I had really nice strong arms. Those are going. But we're gonna get them back, guys, it's okay. Let's go for 2 more. Set those shoulders. Use that right arm. So that's really good. Woo! We are nearly at 90. And listen, everyone has their own journey. So these are exercises, these are the only ones you're doing for the next 5 weeks till 6 weeks post-op. So whenever you start this, if you're at 3 weeks post-op, even if you're at 4 weeks, by 6 weeks post-op, you're wanting to get to 90. No further. You're not trying to push any further. Now, we're bending the arm. Now we're going to do this movement. Again, it's passive, remember? So I'm going to hold my arm and I'm going to lift. And slowly down. So I don't find this movement that difficult, but we are only going to 45. It does start really pulling there. I'm just going to hold my arm here. So when I do that, I can really feel it pulling into here. I wouldn't want to go any further. I also want to try and get this arm as much out as I can when I do this, and that's the movement I struggle with, that external rotation. Woof, that is sore. And again, keeping the shoulder set down. 2 more. So while I'm doing this, and I'll show you from the back, is I'm really focusing on pulling the shoulder blade down. So I set those shoulders, and I want to keep that. Try not to let that shoulder blade come up. Amazing. All right, now this is the one I really struggle with, and this I am going to show you. I actually use the door, and you can use a broom or a stick or anything. I don't have something at hand at the moment, but I'll show you next video because we'll do these every day together. So we're wanting to get to there. That's about 30 degrees. Now for me at the moment, you'll see I'm kind of stuck here at neutral. So because I've been in the sling, because I was injured 2 weeks before surgery and it's kind of been pulling, I feel like there's a vice grip pulling that arm in. So I'm going to hold my hand here and I'm just taking it out. Nice. And literally stuck. You want to try and keep that elbow at your side. Don't let the elbow lift. So we're doing external rotation of the shoulder. Nice. Now what I'll do is I'll show you here actually on my cupboard. So what you can do is find a cupboard or find a doorway, and I'm going to place my hand on the side of the doorway, and I'm facing my shoulders forward and I'm just holding it there. So now this is only 0, this is a 0. I'm not getting any further. If I was able to, and I'll show you on my good arm, you can kind of have your hand on the door and you can twist your body away to get more mobility. I'm not there yet. But again, I've got another 4 weeks where I can really work on that. So I find often during the day, I'll actually take my arm out of the sling, have it down by my side. It feels so good to straighten the elbow, and you really must. So again, this is one of the exercises, straightening your elbow. Set those shoulders back. I'm going to open those palms to the ceiling. So already I'm getting a little bit of external rotation. Stretching that arm straight is so important. Depending what they did in your surgery, I had some of the bicep tendon repaired. So I can help my arm do it with my palm facing up. Actively, if I turn my palm down, I can go up, but it is good to get that elbow moving. Also get stiff. Nice, and I can feel that. None of this is comfortable, guys. We're at the stage where it's early days in our surgery. This recovery, I now know, is going to take months and months and months, but every day we're going to get a little bit better. We're in this together. This is my job. So I really have to get it stronger and moving. Eventually, and it feels so far down the line. But let's say in like 2 months, we're going to want to get our hand here. I mean, yeah, it feels like that's going to be a lot of hard work away. So let's go a little bit more. And I'm going to open it. So earlier today, I actually had my arm out the sling. I'm going to have a little rest because it's getting really uncomfortable. Earlier today, I had the arm out the sling for like half an hour. And when I put it back in, it was really sore. And I was like, oi, I hope I haven't done anything. But in my physio rational brain, I know I haven't done anything. It's literally just been out. And 5 minutes later, it felt quite a lot easier. And I was like, okay. So never panic. When you feel that pain, unless you've fallen, unless you've ripped something, unless you've literally yanked your arm all the way up, you haven't done anything. That pain is just all part of the healing process, and it's frustrating and it's scary, and it's even for me scary, even though I treat this all the time in people. So when you can, take your arm out the sling, have your arm by your side, roll those shoulders. Let's do this as an exercise. Trying to get those shoulders moving. It doesn't want to go back hugely. We're going to go for 5 of these. My arm almost looks normal here. Rolling back. Now I remember in that first few days, that first 3 days, terrible. I literally thought I might die of shoulder pain. I was taking the meds. It really was way worse than I ever anticipated. And because a lot of the stuff, your muscles and everything from your neck attach into this area, I found even turning my head was sore. So now let's look over that right shoulder and over the left shoulder. And you'll find you might feel a little tension into that side. The first 3 days there was no way I could do this, so I've gently been working at it. Nice, guys. Great job. Tomorrow I'll show you some other ways of trying to get that external rotation because I need to work on it, but we'll go through our exercises again. You can repeat this video, or we can I'm going to record another video so you can do a new one. We've got this, guys. We're going to get better. Time, it just takes the time. The body has a physiological time that it takes to heal, for tendons to heal, for bone to heal, for everything to reattach, for it all to solidify. In the surgery, while we were asleep, the doctor has taken our arm full range, and the stitches and everything stay attached. So nothing we do short of falling, and that is a big one, falling and ripping that arm out is going to injure it. But the most important thing for us now is to get that little bit of passive range and make sure we allow it time to heal. Well done, guys. I'm in this with you. It's a tough road, but we're going to do it.